visitors, welcome to the Australian War Memorial's last post ceremony. My name is Joanne Smedley, and joining us today from the Australian Army is Private Talitha Campbell. We warmly welcome the family of Second Lieutenant William Charles Lowry Brooks, whose story will be told shortly. We are honoured to acknowledge the members of the Royal British Legion of Scotland who are accompanied by the members of the Laurelton RSL sub-branch. The Pipe Major of the Legion, Rod Payton, will be playing the lament at this evening's ceremony. We warmly welcome the veterans who have served, those that are still serving, and the families that support them. We acknowledge the members of RSL and Services Clubs Association, RSL Victoria, and RSL Queensland who are watching the broadcast to this ceremony across Australia. During the ceremony, wreaths will be laid at the base of the pool of reflection by family and visitors. Please stand and join in the singing of the national anthem. The vision of Charles Bean, Australia's First World War official historian. Bean landed with the Australian troops on Gallipoli and stayed with them at the front through to the end of the war. The idea of this national memorial and museum came to him at Pozières, France, in the depths of the bloody fighting of 1916. Bean's idea was that this would be a place where families and friends could mourn loved ones buried in faraway places. It would also be a place that could help all Australians understand what these men and women had endured and what they had done for us. Bean's vision, to which we remain true, is best expressed as inscribed in the entrance to the memorial's galleries. Here is their spirit, in the heart of the land they loved, and here we guard the record which they themselves made. Tonight we will read the story behind just one of those on the Roll of Honour, which lists the names of more than 102,000 men and women who have given their lives for us in war and operations for more than a century. But first we present a lament, Flowers of the Forest. Wreaths or floral tributes will now be laid at the base of the pool of reflection.
Today we remember and pay tribute to Second Lieutenant William Charles Lowry Brooks. William Brooks was born on the 13th of May, 1894 in South Townsville, Queensland, to George and Amelia Brooks. He grew up in Townsville and attended Townsville Central School, where he served in the school cadets, reaching the rank of Colour Sergeant. In a devastating blow to the family, Brooks's mother Amelia died in 1909 after a long battle with a brain tumour. His father continued to raise the family as best as he could. After leaving school, William Brooks went to work as a clerk in the Townsville office of the Adelaide Steamship Company. With the outbreak of the First World War, Brooks enlisted to the service into the Australian Imperial Force on the 14th of April, 1915. After some initial training, he was allotted to the first reinforcements of the 7th Field Ambulance. Before Brooks' departure, Brooks's colleagues at the Adelaide Steamship Company gave him a farewell party and presented him with an engraved wristwatch. He left Brisbane with his unit on the 24th of May aboard the transport ship Acanius, bound for Egypt. In Egypt, he reunited with his older brother George, a light horseman. The brothers spent an evening together in Cairo before George left for Gallipoli on the following day. Brooks worked for several months in Egypt, unloading the wounded from ships and transporting them to hospital. He was sent to Gallipoli in September, and in a letter home wrote that he had seen a number of people from Townsville, but he hadn't been able to see George as he was quite some distance away. William Brooks served on Gallipoli until the final days of the campaign. After returning to Egypt, he was transferred to the 13th Field Ambulance and sailed with his unit to France in June. Brooks was promoted to Lance Corporal in early July, and by the end of the month was acting corporal. He was promoted to corporal in September, and in early March 1917, he was second in the Baths unit at Albert and promoted to acting sergeant. A week later, he contracted the mumps and was hospitalised. Brooks rejoined the 13th Field Ambulance in early April, and in August, he was selected to attend the Officer Cadet School and join the No. 6 Officer Cadet Battalion at Oxford. He passed his course and was commissioned on the 29th of November with the rank of Second Lieutenant. Brooks was posted to the General Infantry Reinforcement and sent to France in December, where he was posted to the 51st Battalion. In late March 1918, as the German army launched its spring offence, the 51st Battalion was sent forward to reveal a British unit near the village of Burrell. During the afternoon of the 30th of March, the battalion of Australians came under German artillery fire. Brooks and 2 other men were killed. Though Brooks had been reportedly buried in the churchyard of Brussels, attempts to locate his resting place made after the war were unsuccessful, and his name was added to the Australian National Memorial in Villers-Bertineau. His brother George went on to serve with the artillery on the Western Front and was gassed during the closing stages of the Third Year campaign during the returning to Australia in April 1918. William Brooks's name is listed on the Roll of Honour on my right, among with 62,000 Australians who died while serving the First World War. His photograph is displayed today beside the pool of reflection. You will see him in the middle of the row, third from the left. This is but one of the many stories of service and sacrifice told here at the Australian War Memorial. We now remember Second Lieutenant William Charles Lowry Brooks, who gave his life for us, for our freedom, and for a hope of a better world. They shall grow not old, for we who are left grow old. age shall not weary them, nor the years condemn. At the going down of the sun and in the morning, we will remember them.
We will remember them.
Lest we forget.
Lest we forget. We leave you this evening with the words of the memorial's founder, Charles Bean. Many a man lying out there at Pozières or in the low scrub at Gallipoli with his poor, tired senses barely working through the fever of his brain has thought in his last moments, well, it's over. But in Australia, they will be proud of this. Ladies and gentlemen, girls and boys, that concludes the last post ceremony. We thank you for visiting the Australian War Memorial and wish you a very good evening.